Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Ohio Oak. Today's episode is going to be part 2 of my Etsy shop series. Part 1 is already out. I'll put a link for that in the description. If you want to check that out, great. I cover more of the build itself and talk a little bit about the story behind it. In part 2 here, I really want to walk you through getting my Etsy shop back up and running and the steps that I've taken to make that a success. I don't want this to be a walkthrough, but I just want to touch on a couple of things that are important, at least from my perspective, on getting a shop up and running. I'm going to talk about things like photography and how important that is, titles, descriptions, ways to be able to market yourself, market your business, market your shop, to be able to capture the attention of more viewers and hopefully gain sales. So I hope you'll stick around and check out my process for getting the shop up and running. And then ideally, I'd like to put out a part 3 to this series to update everybody in a couple of months on how the shop's actually doing. I might not make a single sale. I might sell only a few. We'll see. This is going to be one of my side projects, and it's also going to be part of my theme for 2026 to help me to be able to do this full time. One thing is definitely certain with an Etsy shop, and this was the case when I first started my Etsy shop some 10 years ago, and it's just as important, if not more important today. It's product photography. If you can't showcase your product, no one's going to click on the link. No one's going to want to buy it. Ideally, you're presenting your product with a photo that has good lighting, whether it's natural light or artificial light. I think both are going to work, but also in a scene that really reflects the product itself. My boxes are very rustic, very handmade, very industrial age looking without actually being industrial, right? This is a handcrafted piece. This wasn't made by a machine. This was made by my 2 hands. And I really want to reflect that. I also want this to be a reflection of myself too. What am I going to click on? What are people like me who are likely going to buy this going to click on? Or if loved ones are going to be buying this for a gift for a son or a husband or a brother or whomever, maybe even groomsmen, I'd like them to see a reflection of themselves in the photograph, something that's going to draw their eye to it. Now, I'm not a photographer, but I do have an eye for things. And whether you're shopping on a website or you're shopping on Etsy, when you're buying a product, something has to draw you to it. So that's really what I'm trying to capture. I also want to use what I have. I want to use things that are available to me. I love to smoke cigars. I love bourbon. I feel like I can really capture a good scene using these items that I have. I also don't want these pictures to be flat. I want them to have some depth to them. So I've taken my tiny travel bottle of Tylenol and some sticky tack. And what I want to do is use that to prop my box up to make it look like it's not just a flat photograph. And I'm using my phone to take some photos and really envision what that's gonna look like. Now, I'm looking at this now. It makes us look as though the box isn't the center focus. And that's not what I wanna capture. So I'm gonna play around with how this looks until I really like that. And then I'm gonna capture that photo. And what I'm gonna do is capture 3, 4, 5 really good photos in different scenes and use those as my main photo. And then each individual box, because not one is the same, will have its own separate photo showcasing what that box is. And here's a good example. I have 2 boxes, both very much different, and I've taken some time to label each one so that I know when I'm listing this online which box is going to be sold in that particular listing. I like the way that's turning out. A little bit of warm artificial light really brightens up that photo. I'm quite limited to what I can do with After Effects, but I think between the software on my iPhone or the software that I have through Canva or on my computer, I'll be able to play with that photo to adjust all the apertures to get that just right. Now, I'm gonna do this 3 or 4 more times with different scenes and see what I can come up with and try to capture some really good product photography. Okay, I'm back. When I think of a backdrop, I think of a solid color. The only backdrop I really have is a tablecloth. We barely use it. It sits in the cupboard until it does come out, and so it's really wrinkly. I had to iron that real quick. You don't want to have a backdrop that's all full of wrinkles. That will look terrible. One thing I don't want to lose sight of is how I'm going to market this box. I built this as a pencil box, and while I'm going to market it as a pencil box, I do want to be able to market it for different reasons besides just a pencil box. I'm not actually sure how many people are in the market for a pencil box, so this box could be marketed for pencils. It could be marketed as an EDC dump. If you're a cigar smoker, this could be a really fun box you can use to bring cigars in your lighter to a friend's house for a nice evening. This could even be a box that you put your cards in when you're going to game night. So that's where my head's at when I'm thinking about staging these photographs. And I'm gonna use props that I have in my own house. There's a photographer that I really like to follow. His name's Peter McKinnon. And one thing that he talks about when he talks about photography is the use of texture. So what I'm trying to stay conscious of in some of my pictures is being able to use props accordingly, not cluttering the photograph, but then also figuring out how I can add texture to that. And for the photographs marketing this as a pencil box, I'm gonna use something as simple as pencil shavings. So I've gone ahead and made some pencil shavings. I'm gonna sprinkle these around the box itself and see how that turns out. I may not like it, I might love it, and I'll use the photos that really work. Remember that sticker I was telling you about? That's extremely helpful when you're taking pictures of multiple products. What I'm doing is taking a picture of the box with the number first, and then the subsequent pictures after that are pictures of just that box. That way I can keep everything organized on my phone. I'm just using my iPhone. The camera on that is just as good as the camera on my Sony. So then when I go to upload these to my computer, I'm gonna create a folder on my desktop, label 1 through 19, and then I'll put those pictures into that folder. That will help me keep it organized. Then when I go to upload it onto my Etsy shop, I can go straight to that folder, get those pictures uploaded. And for the most part, my description is going to be the same across all of them. I'm just probably going to change it slightly. Now, my main thumbnail photos are what I try to capture first. And like I mentioned before, those are the photos that are going to help me grab people's attention when they're shopping online and be able to market this as more than just a pencil box. One of the key things I'm trying to capture with these photos is to just get the box at all different angles so the consumer knows what they're buying. I want to show the inside, I want to show all 4 sides, the top, the bottom. I also want to show the beauty of these boxes and really outline that handmade craftsmanship that each one of these was made by hand and not a machine. I already created an Etsy shop about 10 years ago. And between then and now, I've just had the shop on vacation mode. I didn't want to close it out because I really thought someday I would get back into it. And I'm so glad that I have. I'm not going to walk through the process of what I did. It's very simple. It's very easy to do. Etsy makes this very user-friendly. So if this is your first time getting into Etsy, follow the guidelines that Etsy puts out and you'll be able to get a shop up and running in no time. That said, what I really want to do with this video is just walk you through how I built out my shop. Hopefully you can pick up on some tips here and there on the process that I used, but these next steps are going to show you what I did to set myself up for success. I've gone through and I've thought of different titles that I want for this pencil box. And I've gone into my Apple Notes, which I love because I can work on my MacBook, I can work on my phone, and they transfer back and forth. But I've gone ahead and I've made a list of all the different titles that I think I might use for these boxes, right? I don't want to limit myself to just selling this as a pencil box. I want to be able to sell it as a keepsake box or an EDC box or an EDC dump. A box that serves 2 purposes, beauty and function. So as you can tell, I've gone ahead and made my listing titles. Below that, I went ahead and I made a list of tags for keywords you can tag in each one of your listing. And what this does is it helps your listing show to people who are searching more than just pencil box or EDC box. Maybe they're searching for a gift for him, a desk organizer, a memory box. Well, what this will do is this will help my listing pop up on their search. The last thing that I've done is I've went ahead and I've added a description. And my description is what I'm using to be able to sell this box to my audience. So the description, while brief, explains the box itself, the purpose, why somebody might want to buy it, and then it also explains a little bit about myself. So if a potential buyer doesn't want to click on my link and check out the bio for the Ohio Oak, then they might be able to capture that information right there in the listing. Now, when you go to set up your shop itself, and your shop is live, what you're going to have on the left-hand side is your shop manager. And the shop manager is going to be able to give you almost everything of what you need to be able to run your shop. Right now, I want to focus on the listings piece. So when you click on listings, You're gonna look on your right side and you're gonna see your listing status. You'll have active, draft, expired, sold out, inactive. What I've been doing here is going through and making drafts of all my boxes. You can have up to 11 photos, one primary, which will be your thumbnail, and then you can also add a video. Etsy clearly states that less than 28% of sellers have listings with a video, but they've also found that videos with listings get twice as many orders as listings with just photos. That's a no-brainer to me. I went ahead and I made a quick video. I edited it. You can add between a 5 and 15 second video. So that's what I went ahead and did. I made a video that's 15 seconds. It showcases the box, but also showcases the functionality of the box as well, which will allow my buyers to be able to see how the box works. And that is exactly what I want to showcase. How beautiful this box actually is and the craftsmanship that goes into it. The functionality of a removable pin, the uniqueness of a removable pin, and a lid that fits perfectly well on the box and can slide right back in place. Now, something that I really want to note here, I took the most professional photos that I'm able to take with my camera that I also did my best to alter with my Canva account. Canva allows me to make adjustments to the photo itself to be able to brighten, highlight, and showcase that product as best as I can. That said, I did not take professional photos of all 19 boxes. That was just gonna be way too much for me because I wanted to create different scenes to be able to market this box a little bit better. I really don't know if this is the right way to go about doing this, but this is what I came up with. I took about 6 to 7 really good photos. And what I did was I went through and I added that note on imagery to every one of those images to really show that the box in the image may not be the box that a buyer might be purchasing. From there, Etsy makes it very easy to put listings out. Everything itself is very self-explanatory. What I will say that has helped me in the past, and I'm going to continue to do it here in the future, was I went ahead and I added a description. And I put a lot of thought and I put a lot of time into this description. The description isn't huge, but what I did was I went ahead and I put in some personal information about myself as well. I myself, when I'm looking for an Etsy shop, I like to take a look at who the seller is. Is this a small shop? Is the shop based out of America? Are the products handmade? And I like to see a little description about the shop. I like being able to support small businesses because that's what I'm trying to be myself. What I will say that has helped me in the past, and I'm going to continue to do it here in the future, is that being able to provide free shipping for my items is something that really grabs the attention of buyers. I know it does myself. Upon doing more research, that seems to be a fact that Etsy puts out, as well as other users, that free shipping grabs more sales. These are very lightweight, they're not very big. Shipping isn't gonna cost me very much, even going out across the country to, say, California.
California, beautiful.
I've already done some research. It'll be around $10 for me to ship from Ohio to California, which is likely going to be my farthest destination. I'm not shipping outside of the country right now. I need to do a little bit more research on shipping to Canada or to Mexico or even over to Europe. Now, how did I settle on the price for my boxes? I talked about this in my last video. Coming up with the price for this box was a little bit of a difficult decision. You don't want to price it too high to where no one's going to want to buy it. But you don't want to price it too low to where, one, you don't make any money on it. But in my case, since all of my wood was free, I don't want this to be a waste of my time. I made 2 different types of boxes. Boxes that feature pieces with epoxy and boxes that don't. While both of these boxes required a lot of work, the boxes with epoxy did require more. It was more time to be able to prep each piece to receive the epoxy, to pour the epoxy, and then to sand. And it wasn't a lot more, but I'm gonna charge a little bit more for these boxes than I am for this. So for a handcrafted, one-of-a-kind box, no two will ever be alike, I've settled on $100 for the boxes that feature epoxy, and I've settled on $80 for the boxes that don't. Obviously, the true test is going to be whether or not I sell boxes at this price. If I don't see them selling, I could also mark them down to indicate the boxes are on sale. That itself might entice more buyers. But the true test here is going to be time. If I don't sell boxes at that price, maybe it's the price itself, maybe it's something else. But this is gonna be a big experiment for me. I hope it works. Again, my goal here is to be able to quit my job and focus on my YouTube channel, and then focus on a product or products eventually that I can sell online, whether it's through Etsy or in the future to be able to work my way up to having my own website. But I'd also like to hear from you. If anybody has any suggestions on whether or not I price this too high or too low, please let me know. I do want to point out how easy it is to create a listing. When you're in your shop manager and you go under listings, you simply go up to add a listing in the top right corner. All you have to do in the beginning is search for the product that you're selling. In my case, I searched the term keepsake box. Because at its core, whether it's a pencil box or an EDC box, this is something that you keep your personal items in. And that takes me to boxes and bins. There are many different options out there for many different products that are sold on Etsy. Mine is a physical product. So when you hit continue and you go to the next screen, it will say, is this physical or digital? I click on physical, I made it. It is a finished product, and I made it between 2020 and 2025. It's also made from scratch, and I used handheld or hand-guided tools to create it. Very simple, going through the prompts, and once I hit continue, that pop-up then closes and takes me to the actual listing that I can build out. I think this is a pretty good place to wrap this video. I've been thinking about what I want to accomplish, and I don't really want it to be a walkthrough. There's probably thousands of Etsy shop walkthroughs on YouTube right now, and they're all far better than what I'm gonna present. My goal with this video is to hopefully inspire you. Inspire anyone, inspire one person. If you've been thinking about starting your own business or taking a leap forward on selling your craft on Etsy, then I hope this video helps give you the motivation that you need to finally take that step, because that's what I'm doing. I'm tired of sitting at a desk all day working for somebody else, having to leave my family to travel on work trips. I'm in my 40s. I want to start doing things on my own terms. And I want to have that autonomy and that freedom that you get from doing things on your own terms. I don't like setting goals for the new year. That's never really been my thing. But what I do want to set for 2026 is a theme. And my theme for 2026 is doing things on my own terms. By the time this video is released, my Etsy shop will be live, and I'll have 5 to 10 boxes live available for purchase. So if you're looking for a gift, or you want to buy one yourself of a one-of-a-kind Ohio oak made Japanese pencil box, EDC box, keepsake box, whichever one you're looking for, those should be live. I'll leave a link for my shop in the description if you want to check that out. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. I hope you can take something away from it. If you did, I would really appreciate it if you give me a like, subscribe, if you share this video, tell your friends. It really helps me in growing this channel, and it's really going to help me in taking 2026 into my own hands. So thanks for stopping by the shop today. As always, I'm John, aka the Ohio Oak. And I want to leave you with this. Conquer 2026. Set your own theme. Go out into the world. Make it a better place. Don't lose a finger while doing so. And as always, make today great.